Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a journey through the four industrial revolutions.
Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
It really is. We're talking about how we went from like handmade everything to, well, the world we live in now.
Yeah, it's really like a chain reaction. Each revolution kind of builds on the one before it sparks these new ideas, new technologies, and yeah, whole new ways of life.
And to really appreciate just how much things have changed, we got to go back to the beginning.
Back to the very beginning.
Yeah, before the first revolution even started.
Okay, so picture this, a world where your clothes are all hand-stitched. Every single tool is hand-forged. And, the food that you're eating comes from, like, right around where you live.
Everything local.
Exactly. Everything's local life was slower, more connected to nature, and communities were super tight-knit.
I mean, there's definitely a certain charm to that kind of simplicity.
Absolutely. There are some real benefits to that pre-industrial life,
Yeah.
a certain self-sufficiency and that harmony with nature you were talking about. But let's not get too romantic about it.
Right.
Imagine a world where, like, a bad harvest could wipe out an entire community because there wasn't, a global trade network to fall back on.
That's a good point.
And progress was slow. New ideas took, like, forever to spread.
So it's that hunger for progress,
Mhm.
right? That desire to make life a little easier, a little more efficient, that really sets the stage for the first industrial revolution.
Yeah, around 1760, everything changed. And it all started with this guy, James Watt, and his invention of the steam engine.
The steam engine. Talk about a game changer.
Oh, yeah. Suddenly we could harness power in a whole new way. Imagine factories operating on a scale never seen before, all thanks to these incredible machines chugging away, powered by steam.
And factories meant mass production, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then one of the big names here is Richard Arkwright, sometimes called like the father of the factory system.
I've heard that.
Yeah, he built these textile mills with these water-powered spinning frames. These things were cranking out fabric at a pace that would have just blown the minds of anyone used to like hand spinning.
That's wild.
Yeah, it really was. And the effects on society were massive. I mean, people flocked to cities for these new factory jobs. Cities just exploded in size. And then you had railroads and steamships connecting people and goods across huge distances.
It's mind-boggling how fast things changed.
It really is. The first revolution really unleashed the power of industry. It brought unprecedented growth and interconnectedness to the world.
But I imagine it wasn't all sunshine and roses.
You're right. Progress always comes with a cost. The other side of all this growth was grueling factory conditions, people working incredibly long hours, and let's be honest, often exploitation of workers.
So the first industrial revolution, while amazing in its advancements, also taught us a pretty hard lesson.
Yeah, it showed us that we need to balance technological advances with social responsibility, because innovation, without considering the human cost, can lead to huge societal imbalances and, a lot of suffering, honestly, and that's a theme that's going to keep popping up as we go through these revolutions.
So it's like we're always trying to figure out how to reap the benefits of progress without repeating the same mistakes.
Exactly.
And speaking of progress, let's move on to the second industrial revolution, which kicks off in the late 19th century.
All right, so this era is all about electricity, oil, and steel.
The building blocks of modern industry.
You got it. Especially steel, it played a massive role. I mean, the Bessemer process made steel production way cheaper and faster.
Yeah.
And suddenly we see skyscrapers popping up, massive bridges, and these expanding rail networks.
It's like watching the New York City skyline come to life.
Exactly. All thanks to this readily available and affordable steel.
And while steel was reshaping, the physical world, communication was having its own revolution.
Oh, yeah. The telegraph and telephone, they just shrank the world. Near instant communication across continents was suddenly possible.
Can you imagine a farmer in the Midwest getting real-time market updates from New York City?
I mean, it's something that would have been unimaginable just a generation earlier.
It's incredible.
It really is. And the second industrial revolution, it amplified that interconnectedness that started with the first, but it also amplified the potential for those imbalances we were talking about.
How so?
Well, this is the age of the giant monopolies. Companies like Standard Oil that controlled vast industries and accumulated just obscene wealth, often at the expense of workers and consumers.
So again, we see this amazing technological progress, but alongside it, this growing awareness that we need to think about the ethical implications.
Right. It's this constant struggle to find that balance.
And what was the big takeaway from the second industrial revolution?
I think it showed us that unchecked technological advancements, they can lead to some really serious societal imbalances, regulation, and ethical frameworks. They're essential to making sure that the benefits of progress are distributed more fairly.
Food for thought. As we continue our journey in just a moment, we'll be diving into the third industrial revolution, where electronics and computers take center stage. But first, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible transformation we've witnessed so far.
Yeah, from handcrafted everything to skyscrapers and instant communication, it's amazing what human ingenuity can achieve.
It really is, and we're just getting started.
And as we move into the third industrial revolution, things start to feel a lot more familiar, a lot closer to the world we live in now.
Yeah, this is where we start to see the rise of electronics and computers, right?
Exactly, the very foundation of our digital world today.
And it all started with those giant room-sized computers.
Oh yeah, those things were massive. It's crazy to think that those were the ancestors of our sleek little smartphones and laptops.
It's like comparing a dinosaur to a hummingbird.
Haha. Yeah, something like that. But the speed of innovation during this time was just mind-blowing. I mean, in 1971, Intel introduced the first microprocessor. They basically shrunk the brain of a computer onto a tiny little chip.
And that changed everything.
Oh, absolutely. It unlocked a whole new level of human potential. Suddenly, the power of computing wasn't just for governments and big corporations. It was for everyone.
And that accessibility really unleashed a wave of creativity and entrepreneurship, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. The rise of personal computers, software companies like Microsoft, and the birth of the internet. This is when technology really started to enter homes and offices. And it transformed how we work, how we learn, how we communicate, even how we spend our free time.
And it had a huge impact on the workforce, too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Automation became a major force during this period. Because manufacturing became so much more efficient with robots and automated systems taking over a lot of the repetitive tasks.
So things got faster and cheaper.
Exactly. Productivity skyrocketed, costs went down, which meant that goods became more affordable and accessible to a wider range of people.
But I imagine there was a flip side to that coin.
There always is.
So what were the downsides of all this automation?
Well, job displacement became a real concern. A lot of people were worried about losing their jobs to machines.
And rightfully so.
Yeah, it was a challenging time for many, and it really highlighted the need for people to adapt, to learn new skills, to stay relevant in this rapidly changing job market.
So the third industrial revolution was about more than just embracing new technology. It was about embracing a new way of thinking.
Exactly. It was about adaptability, about lifelong learning, about being willing to embrace change. And that's a theme that's even more relevant today as we enter the fourth industrial revolution, an era where digital, physical, and biological systems are all starting to converge in these really fascinating and sometimes kind of unsettling ways.
Just like science fiction is becoming reality.
It really is.
We'll dive into all of that in just a moment. But first, let's take a quick break.
Okay, so we're back and ready to dive into the fourth industrial revolution where things get really futuristic.
This is where it gets really interesting. We're talking artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, nanotechnology. All these fields are advancing at an incredible pace, and they're all starting to blend together.
And they're already having a huge impact on our lives.
Oh, absolutely. Think about companies like Tesla. They're not just building cars anymore. They're creating these AI-powered machines that can learn and adapt.
Yeah.
It's a whole new level of automation and connectivity. It's like the stuff we used to see in sci-fi movies.
Right. And then there's the rise of AI itself. Organizations like OpenAI, they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible. I mean, think about it. AI is already woven into our daily routines, personalized recommendations on streaming services, the algorithms that help us navigate the internet. It's everywhere.
It's mind-blowing, but also kind of scary.
Yeah, it definitely raises a lot of questions, about the future of work, the nature of intelligence, what it even means to be human in this age of intelligent machines.
The big questions.
Big questions. And those are exactly the questions we need to be thinking about as we move forward. The fourth industrial revolution, it presents us with these incredible opportunities, but also some really complex challenges. Yeah, as we become more reliant on AI and these other emerging technologies, we need to think carefully about the ethical implications, make sure that their development benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
It's a lot to take in. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the steam engine to the microprocessor, from hand-woven fabrics to self-driving cars. It's been quite a journey.
It really has, and each revolution has brought its own set of disruptions and opportunities. It's forced societies to adapt and evolve, but one thing has remained constant throughout this whole process.
What's that?
The human spirit of ingenuity, that drive to explore, to invent, to create a better world,
It's pretty amazing.
it is. And as we navigate this uncharted territory of the fourth industrial revolution, we need to remember to harness that ingenuity responsibly.
Responsibly.
Yeah, we need to think about the long-term impact of the choices we're making today. Make sure that our technological advancements align with our values and contribute to a future that's sustainable and equitable for everyone.
Well said.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today into the four industrial revolutions, I hope you're leaving with a sense of wonder, a sense of possibility, and a renewed appreciation for the power of human ingenuity.
We've come a long way, but the journey is far from over. The future is being written right now, and each and every one of us has a role to play in shaping it.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
It really is. So let's learn from the past, embrace the present, and build a future that we can all be proud of.
Couldn't say it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.
And that's our show for today.